tough Dodge Ram pickup. Built like the proverbial brick.
We got it.
Apartment house.
Next Sunday.
Tim Ryan and Randy Cross at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. You can see it is hot. That's not hot air he's blowing there, folks. I'll tell you that. That's Garth Jacks trying to get a little relief from a cold air blower. Now, later in the season, in other parts of the country, they're blowing hot air on you guys.
Gary Hogeboom back in the game after taking a blow to the chin in that little fight.
And rolling on first down, and it is picked up. Deion Sanders tripped up. The ball is loose at the 40-yard line, and Phoenix has possession. Meanwhile, a flag down back where Hogeboom released the ball. All kinds of stuff on this play.
We're going to have a personal foul roughing the passer against Atlanta.
Penalty marker down.
Hogeboom did not throw a good pass. He threw it right into the traffic. Deion Sanders made the pickoff and then coughed it up.
Deion Sanders committed the Cardinals sin.
Well, it was a Falcon sin.
For a Falcon sin for a defensive player. Bill Walsh with the 49ers in my years used to say it time and time again. You get a turnover, it's a big play. Don't compound it by turning the ball over and giving the other team an equally big play.
Well, this rookie, though, loves to make things happen. He is an exciting guy who knows he can create
We
it.
have roughing the passer on number 75, defense, then the interception, then the fumble, recovered by the Cardinals to keep the ball. They decline the penalty. First down.
Tony Casillas, number 75, was charged with the penalty on Hogeboom.
Now we get a shot here at Deion Sanders going right here against Ernie Jones, and he's not doing anything particularly wild and fantastic. He just happens to be there when Hogeboom throws that gift up in the air. Now here he's using a little athletic ability. He gets away the first time from the tight end there, decides to cut back. The heck with following my blocking, and Ewald gets another chance and manages to strip the ball, and it looks like Lance Smith fell on the ball.
So the Cardinals keep it and pick up 5 on first down to their 45-yard line. That is Tony Baker, his first carry of the day, number 44, a third-year man from East Carolina. And he was picked up after Stump Mitchell was injured a couple of weeks back and has been backing up Tony Jordan at the running back spot. Now Earl Ferrell and Tony Jordan are the running backs for the Cardinals.
Tony Casillas, you saw on your screen ever so briefly, is having probably the year of his career so far, but he's not having a very good day today. Connie Kawhi is really having a good game against him.
2nd and 5. Ferrell blasts his way out to the 50-yard line, and it'll be just short of the first down. Ben Thomas on the stop. Well, here at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, a somewhat surprising first half with the badly beaten up Phoenix Cardinals suffering injuries, suspensions, walkouts, all kinds of misery, have taken a 14-3 lead over Atlanta. 6:12 to go in the first half. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross watching an entertaining game thus far. Just had a few extra fireworks, and Gene Stallings has done a remarkable job despite all of the setbacks suffered by him and his team. 3rd and short. Ferrell stuffed at the line of scrimmage, but may have got that ball over the line for a first down. Randy, Connie Kawhi's got to be of particular interest to you as a former center. Here's a guy that has played very little. Gene Stallings himself said, I haven't seen the guy play in 3 years. He's just a backup for us, and but he'll give it his best out there. What did he tell you about playing Casillas?
Actually, he was very secretive. He didn't want Kathy Barretto, our director, and I were talking to him, and I said, hey, what are you going to do against this guy? He's going to be an all-pro. He's probably the best nose guard right now in the league. What are you going to do? He just looked me dead in the eye and says, I have a game plan. But that's not what I asked you. What are you going to do?
Well, let's watch what he does.
15.
Play action, a lot of time for Hogaboom. And incomplete. Intended for Novacek, for Ewalt, pardon me, number 80, Robert Ewalt, the tight end, and it'll be second down.
What is he going to do against Jorge Casillas? He's going to get Lance Smith, his right guard, number 61, to help him out a little bit on that pass protection. Tony Casillas, they drive him to the outside. He trips. Ooh, he trips right over Zendowski's leg and ends up on the ground. You know, Tony, for a nose guard, is a very, very good pass rusher. Uses his hands really, really well.
2nd and 10 Cardinals. Wolfley and Baker now in as the running backs. Hogaboom again, good protection, and now runs up into traffic and is dropped for a loss of about a yard. Ben Thomas got him. Falcons had good coverage downfield, and that'll be a sack credited to Ben Thomas. 3rd Falcon sack of the day.
Tim, that's one of those garbage sacks. You hated to get one of those when you're an offensive lineman. Either when the quarterback was stepping up and was almost to the line of scrimmage, but if he's short of the line of scrimmage when he's tackled, that's a sack. Or when he scrambled out of bounds, that would drive you nuts. He'd scramble out of bounds and take a sack. You'd be screaming, don't go out of bounds, fall down, do something.
Well, that one, Hogaboom, just as you point out, really gave them the opportunity. Marcus Cotton and Malcolm Taylor in now on 3rd down and 11. High snap. Handled by Hogaboom, just gets the pass off, complete for a first down to Smith. J.T. Smith. Albert Shelley on the tackle.
I don't care if he's 23, 33, or 43. J.T. Smith is a smart wide receiver. Look at him, he makes this move, plays Deion Sanders, makes him get over-committed there, and just comes in and makes a nice concentrated catch on a finely thrown ball by Gary Hogaboom. You know, we talked to Hogaboom yesterday too, Tim. You believe his right arm, he's got that arthritis in that right elbow. Gary Hogaboom's, he can't straighten it out all the way and he can't bend it all the way up, but he can throw the heck out of a football.
And he's got first down at the 37-yard line. There's that quick hitch out to the right side. Jones tripped up by Deion Sanders, but he still picked up 5 or 6 yards on the play. And there you get a look at Hogaboom's right arm. You can even see, although now he's limping, as if that's what the Cardinals need, another injury. But you can even see the way his arms hang from his shoulders there, that the right one doesn't have the same extension as the left one does.
Well, if they took players out of the NFL for minor little deformities of body parts, you wouldn't have many players left.
Scott Dill is in at right tackle for Joe Wolf now, the rookie from BC, getting a blow. On 2nd and 4, Jordan got about 2 of it. It'll leave 3rd and 2 at the 28-yard line of Atlanta. Jesse Tuttle on the stop. As we give you a quick look, a review of the games played earlier today around the NFL. And some in progress. The Giants, San Diego playing the Giants tough at home. And New Orleans and the Rams in another close game, and that's as close as you can get there. The Niners and the Pats tied up. 3rd down. A long 2 for the Cardinals trying to keep this drive alive. They have had the clock in this first half. That's complete to Earl Ferrell for a first down, Phoenix. Robert Moore stopped him, but not before Ferrell had the yardage. And we have reached the 2-minute warning here in the first half at Sun Devil Stadium. Phoenix leading 14-3.
I'm tired of us Sooners getting no recognition. I played 13 seasons in front of millions of fans, made All-Pro twice, and started in 3 Super Bowls. Yet no one knows who I am. Hey, even if I'm not well known, at least my beer is. Miller Lite. An All-Pro Center doesn't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great.
Oh, excuse me.
Let me get that.
Hey, aren't you Randy Cross?
It's well known. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
Dodge announces the best, our biggest ever sale on trucks, with the biggest cashback savings ever on our most popular pickups.
Get a ton of money on half-ton pickups. $2,000, 89s and 90s. But see your Dodge dealer's best right away. I don't know how long we can keep this up.
Two minutes to play here in the first half, and at this point, Phoenix has had the ball for 18 minutes and 29 seconds of the first half. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross, we are up as high as those folks are, but they've got the little prettier location amidst the cactus and the mountain across from us, a famous peak here at the Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. There were plenty of seats available for those folks had they wanted to come into the stadium. Not a sellout here again this week in Tempe, but the way the Cardinals are playing today, should they go on to win in this style, it'll certainly help to bring some more fans in the rest of the way. But the Falcons still very much in it. 14-3, still 2 minutes to go, but the Cardinals with the ball in Atlanta territory. Ewald at the 5-yard line, complete. Scott Case on the coverage, but couldn't keep the big guy from catching it and staying in bounds. 20-yard gain.
Coach Gene Stallings of the Cardinals says, I got to get more out of my tight ends in this offense. I'm just not getting much. That was a fine example right there of a great long downfield pattern by a tight end. They seem to be picking on Mr. Case just a little bit. You know, in this Falcon defense, it's man within the zone. Somebody comes into the zone, you pick him up. Case didn't pick him up quite in time. Good concentration, danced in there, got the feet, made the catch.
First and goal for the Cardinals. And it looks like there must be replay activity going on here, is my guess, when they stand around and huddle down there.
After review by replay, the play stands. First down.
George Sladkey, the replay official.
Well, it seemed on first viewing that there wasn't much doubt. We'll see the ball get into his arms. He's got possession, 1, 2, and then he drags him for good measure.
First and goal, Cardinals. Ron Wolfley. Wolfley batters his way, touchdown. Now there's one of the most popular players on the team and in the hearts of the fans here in Phoenix, Ron Wolfley. His first touchdown of the year, and they're happy to see him get it. He's a special teams player. He's a backup fullback. He gives you everything all the time. He's got a great sense of humor. And he shows he's got some running power as well. 5 yards for the score.
Elusive he's not.
Del Greco for the point after. And the Cardinals widen their lead to 21-3 here in the first half. 60 yards in 11 plays, another 5 minutes and 36 seconds churned out on the clock during that drive.
Jim Schaffner talking to Gary Hoagland there on the sideline, celebrating a little touchdown there. At first look here, you're not going to think this is going to be a touchdown. Watch. Hoagland gives Wolfley the ball. It's stretched out. It looks like the Falcons are there. Fine lead block, and it doesn't even wrap up. Nobody wants to make the tackle and get him. Great effort by Wolfley and terrible tackling by the Atlanta Falcons.
Ron Wolfley asked about all these injuries. He said, I think there must be somebody in Haiti that has been sticking pins into a voodoo doll and is made in the likeness of a Phoenix Cardinal. Well, yesterday in college football here on CBS, you may have seen Alabama really impressive against Tennessee, 47-30. Penn State was idle yesterday, but they will meet each other next week. The winning Alabama against number 17 ranked Penn State, live at 2:30 Eastern time. Penn State at 5-1, inactive yesterday. 2:30 Eastern time. That should be quite a battle next week. There's the bet from Big Springs, Texas. J.T. Smith having quite a first half. Yesterday they had a high school reunion down in Big Spring, Texas, and had a lot of former players have come out of that little high school, made it into the NFL. 11 in all, including the likes of Charlie Johnson, the fine quarterback, Dan Birdwell, a former Oakland Raider, Charlie West played with the Vikings for a long time and other teams, Ken Coffey, the former Redskin. JT unable to make the homecoming. He was busy here today. Deion Sanders to the 29-yard line. Imagine 11 NFLers out of a place called Big Spring High School in Big Spring, Texas. It's amazing.
It's incredible. You get a little school. I went to a little high school in Encino out in California called Crespi High School. And we had about a half dozen, 8 guys that eventually turned pro out of there.
Don Holmes stopped Deion Sanders on that kickoff return. There's Deion going off a little slowly. Disappointed, no doubt, that he hasn't made the big play yet today, although he did have an interception. He wound up fumbling it right back to the Cardinals. First down, Falcons from their 27-yard line. John Settle with running room. Settle takes it out to stop the clock. 1:35 remaining.
Point down.
Now remember last week Chris Miller marched his team down in the final minute of that game against New England to win it with a very impressive drive, including a 4th and 10 situation in which he came up with a big pass completion.
Marion Campbell needs his offense to take him down the field and get some points at this junction. 21-3. They've got to get points here going into the locker room at halftime. They've got all their timeouts left, and they have a minute and a half to do it in.
Miller flipped the pass out, complete to Keith Jones. And a first down at the 45-yard line. A creative effort by Chris Miller there under pressure. Looked like he was about to be sacked. Falcons take a timeout.
You know, there's a term in golf, Tim. It's not how, it's how many as far as your final score goes. It ain't pretty. It's not even particularly even ugly. It's worse than that, but he flips it out there and just gets it to them, and they get a first down. They take a timeout, and they're starting to move the ball.
Falcons have so much confidence in this young man, Chris Miller, and they now feel a lot better about their backup situation because Hugh Millen in that game that you and I covered, Randy, against Green Bay played very, very well in his first starting effort in the NFL. So with Miller, a guy that they think, they even talk about in terms of your old star quarterback Joe Montana, they think he's got some of his kind of skills for the future. And then Hugh Millen in reserve, Atlanta looking very strong at quarterback. At halftime, the NFL Today will bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights. Brent Nerve will be there. What did you think when Jim Hanifin, their offensive coach, mentioned Montana and Miller in the same breath?
Well, you know, Jim Hanifin was also, Tim, very specific in saying you take Montana and you stick him up here sort of by himself. Joe is up there by himself. This guy, Chris Miller, has great athletic ability, and he's shown the leadership that a great quarterback has to have.
Miller's got first down here at the 45-yard line. Gets time and hits Jones out of the backfield. Gain of about 7, maybe 8. Into Phoenix territory. Tim McDonald on the tackle. Second and 4. Settle. Good pursuit by the Cardinals. Loss on the play. 2. Eric Hill, the rookie linebacker from LSU. Atlanta takes another timeout.
That was a quick screen set up with Wayne Radloff, number 55, running out in front of Settle, number 44, and the timing was just off, and Hill read it perfectly.
Miller talking things over with Rod Dowhauer. That's Dowhauer facing him. Dowhauer and Jim Hanifin, the offensive bosses of the Atlanta coaching staff. Well, we mentioned earlier Randy Cross, who lives in San Francisco, being right there in the middle of the earthquake activity. And, of course, Hurricane Hugo, very recent disaster over on the East Coast. And a lot of work involved in restoring life to normal. And thanks to volunteers like those here today, Red Cross volunteers collecting money from the patrons at the football game today. A lot of help will be going to the victims of those disasters. And if you care to help, we suggest you check your local newspapers for the appropriate support agency in your area. The Red Cross volunteers were here at yesterday's college game as well, Arizona State and Oregon, and back out here today, and I'm sure receiving a very generous response from everybody who feels very, very deeply about the victims of the earthquake out in the Bay Area. Third down. Miller to Jones. He has a first down, gets out of bounds at the 40-yard line of Phoenix. 46 seconds still on the clock. Tim McDonald made the hit.
Miller's getting excellent pass protection to this point, and he's doing something now that he wasn't doing earlier. He's making crisp, clean decisions. Earlier in the game, he was getting a little pressure and he was throwing the ball into the hands of these Cardinals. Right now, he's willing to wait and be a little bit more patient.
Well, as you point out, if they can get a score here, suddenly you've got a whole different second half. If they go in 21-3, it's a long uphill climb. If they get 3 or 7 here, well, then we've got a whole different ball game in the second half.
I think these Falcons are stunned and surprised that these Cardinals have this much fight in them.
On first down, Miller pumps once and then out to Jones, just off target. Jones couldn't quite haul it in. That'll stop the clock with 41 seconds left. And it'll leave second down.
I don't think you're going to see that too often with Keith Jones dropping a pass. Rod Dowhauer, the offensive coordinator we talked about earlier, said Jones has the best hands he's probably ever seen. They took it for granted for a little while, and all of a sudden they notice this guy doesn't drop any balls. That's why you see him split out sometimes as a wide receiver.
When you think about the talent they have now at a receiving core for a quarterback like Miller, as this team grows, this is going to be one of the great offenses in the league. The likes of Michael Haynes and Sean Collins, veterans like Bailey and Dixon, and backfield receivers like Jones. Back the other way to Settle. He can catch the ball and he can run with it. And Settle has a first down inside the 30-yard line. 29 seconds left and counting down. Tim McDonald on the stop. Atlanta takes their final timeout, and Settle a little slow to get up. Remember, he came into the game with a knee injury he missed last week.
I think you're in the second half and here at the end of the first half, you're going to see an awful lot of the Falcons here, led by Mr. Campbell there in the hat, get up a little bit slow. It's hot. They're not used to this kind of heat, and I believe they're going to wear down significantly in the second half.
I don't know whether we had flashed this score up here in the last few minutes, but I just want you to know, Randy, that the 49ers are leading New England 10-7 in the second period. Mike Kofer's field goal putting them up. How did UCLA do yesterday?
Well, actually, they managed to lose to Oregon State for the first time in 11 years. I was pretty happy about that one.
Well, I had my annual little man-to-man bet with Tim McDonald of the Cardinals as Notre Dame beat USC. I won't see him now probably for another few weeks, but that's one that's always fun. He's quite a serious alumnus of the Trojans. And we're told now it's 10-10. The Niners and New England are even up at 10 apiece in the second quarter. From the 29-yard line, play resumes, first down, Atlanta. To the 20-yard line. So the Falcons getting themselves into scoring position now at the 20 with 20 seconds remaining. Jay Taylor drove him out. Miller has been on target on this drive just as he was in the final minute last week, the victory over New England. Haynes goes left. Stacey Bailey right. and out of bounds anyway. Jay Taylor had the coverage on Stacey Bailey. And slow to get up, defensive tackle Jim Waller, number 66, and he'll come out.
Jim Waller's a rookie out of UCLA, and Gene Stallings says he is really having a fine rookie year. He's a battler. He's a flailer. He gets in there and runs around. You see, he was in the middle of your screen here, just fell down a little bit of a bruise. Ball hit Stacey Bailey right in the chest. He doesn't quite manage to get it.
Yeah, it may have been that he could have stayed in bounds had he caught it. It's hard to tell from that, but nonetheless incomplete. Third down. Big play, obviously, for Atlanta. Miller for Jones, and a diving Zordich broke it up. Number 38, Michael Zordich. Zordich, a Plan B free agent, came over from the Jets, and when Lonnie Young went down, Zordich has had to come in and fill in for him and makes a big play there. Fourth down. McFadden is on the field.
Timeout. Phoenix, number 1, 40 seconds.
Cardinals take a timeout with 11 seconds to play. That'll give McFadden a little more time to think, and he takes a little wander back to get his thoughts together. Well, as McFadden gets ready, a chance to remind you, next Sunday we have doubleheader action here on CBS. It all begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern, and these Atlanta Falcons will be in New Orleans. New Orleans, last report, were leading the Rams today. Phoenix will be at Dallas, the winless Cowboys. And then our doubleheader game 2 will feature the Eagles, squeaker winners over the Raiders today against John Elway and Denver. Paul McFadden missed from 43 yards back in the first quarter on the opening drive of Atlanta's Falcons, and then he connected from 37 yards out for their only score of this first half. This one being spotted at the 27, so once again he'll be trying to make it from 37. And he's got it. Paul McFadden, his second 37-yard field goal from the same end of the field. And so the Falcons come away with valuable points, 21-6. Just 7 seconds left in the first half. So the Cardinals no doubt feeling good that they held them from scoring a touchdown. But Atlanta feeling good that they have now got 6 points and making the second half more attractive indeed.
And equally as important, Tim, is the fact that Atlanta Falcon defense was on the sideline all that time, getting a chance to sit down and get some rest, because they're going to need all the rest they can get for this second half push.
McFadden preparing to kick it off.
I always find it curious to see these kickers. They squeeze the ball from the middle. They squeeze the ball from the side. You can't squeeze a football.
Not even you big burly linemen.
Not even us. And you see here in the Eastern Division of the NFC, it's basically a 3-team race right here with Washington, Philadelphia, and the Giants. Though a team like Phoenix can get on a roll with their schedule in the next 4 or 5 weeks, they could put some wins on the board.
Well, and next week they get some people back too. We'll tell you more about that. On the kickoff, Sikahema from the 3-yard line. And he gets out over the 25 of Phoenix with 3 seconds to go for one play. Robert Moore on the tackle. Freddie Joe Nunn returns from his substance abuse suspension next week, and of course he's a valuable member of these Cardinals. And Lonnie Young has been on injured reserve, expected back next week as well. Those are 2 key performers they've had to go some time without.
Louis Sharp made a comment today in the newspaper that, hey, if we can get to 500 by the turning point, by the midway in the season, if we can be 4-4 with all our people getting healthy, we'll be tough in the second half.
And we should mention Tootie Robbins due to be back next week as well. They're starting right tackle, so they're going to be a different team a week from today when they get at least some of those guys back that they've been missing so badly. So we've come to the end of the first half at Sun Devil Stadium. An impressive display by the Phoenix Cardinals. The Atlanta Falcons certainly coming in a little better frame of mind and certainly in a little better physical shape, but they trail 21-6 at halftime.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the exciting, innovative, unconventional new spirit of Dodge. Norelco Lift and Cut Shavers, we made close comfortable. And by Diet Coke, just for the taste of it, with 100% NutraSweet.
Too many people think a spark plug's a spark plug. Well, all spark plugs aren't alike. These AC copper core plugs match my car's specs like rounds in a chamber, firing up to 30 times a second for up to 30,000 miles of high revving firepower.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
Keep your car running the way it was made to run.
Now get up to $8.80 back on AC filters and plugs. See your retailer for details.
McDonald's Happy Halloween certificates. They're 10 for $1. Good for free cones and sundaes at McDonald's. Plus, you get this free window rider when you buy Who Framed Roger Rabbit on video. What a great idea.
It's McRib time at McDonald's. Grilled pork and that sassy sauce. Add fries and a Coke and you're talking chomp, but only for a limited time. The good time, great taste of McDonald's. McRib chomp.
Monday, there's something funny going on.
You're gonna get a big surprise.
With double episodes of New Heights.
Surprise!
Things get crazy around here.
It's a laugh-packed lineup starting with Major Dad.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Followed by a new Newhart at a special time. Then it's Murphy Brown, the famous Teddy Z, Designing Women, and Newhart 2.
If the whole thing gives you just one hearty horse laugh, then it was all worth it. It did.
You'll double up with laughter. Monday on CBS.
Well, we've had a development regarding resumption of the World Series. Just a short time ago, Art Agnos, the mayor of San Francisco, appeared at a news conference with Fay Vincent, the commissioner of baseball. And it was during that time that Vincent made the following announcement.
We have agreed, he and I, that baseball should resume with enthusiasm at Candlestick Park this coming week. But we've also agreed that Tuesday was too ambitious. And so with his support and enthusiasm, though he'll speak to that in a minute, I'd like to announce that we are going to play at Candlestick starting Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And we will go to Oakland, if necessary, Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, Pat O'Brien is standing by live right now. And Pat, did they at all consider canceling the World Series entirely?
I get the sense that that decision, they didn't come very close to making that kind of a decision, Brent. The commissioner said today that baseball, and as well as San Francisco, even for what this city has been through, baseball and the community is served by having baseball continue. Life must go on is the word that they use here. So I don't think they came very close to making that decision.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. And so, again, the story out of San Francisco, the World Series to resume, but not Tuesday night. It'll be Friday night. Joe Montana, the San Francisco quarterback, moments ago was lost with a knee injury. He was carried off the field. We do not know how serious. We certainly will pass the details along in the second half of your game. And we'll continue right after these messages from your local stations.
Tonight, passions explode when an old love affair turns deadly.
There must be some other way.
Mike Connors guest stars on Murder, She Wrote. Then, your child has been violated.
Which one of them hurt you?
They all did.
How could it happen? Who do you turn to? And when do the nightmares stop?
It's their fault. They did it.
We should have known.
Pam Dauber, John Shea.
We don't let people hurt us in this family.
A film every parent should see. Do you know the Muffin Man? Tonight.
This is CBS.
Welcome back to our New York studios. You know, one sure way to generate a little football controversy is to launch a debate on who's the best quarterback in the NFL. Well, Irv Cross has taken this question one step further.
In the NFL, a team can only go as far as its quarterback can take it. And this year's crop of field generals is among the finest ever assembled. While each shines in his own special way, we wonder what it would be like if we could create the perfect quarterback. The Robo QB. Since it's a passing game, we'll start with a strong arm, Dan Marino's. Playing like a man with a porpoise, Dolphin Dan dazzles defenders with deadly downfield darts with the quickest release since Joe Namath's. Even collies can see that Marino is a top gun in the league.
I think if you wanted to go with an accurate arm, you'd like a guy like Marino.
Well, Randall, don't be too jealous. The good news is that the rest of the fellows covet your legs, and why not? If they could run like you can, they wouldn't have to hide. In fact, when it comes to daring feat, you win head over heels.
Probably Randall Cunningham's legs and head. I'd use my own head. I'd want to look like myself.
Well, we could call it Kramer versus Kramer, but hey, sorry, Tommy. Our cerebral selection is Joe Montana. He can beat you every which way, on the ground and in the air. Down the stretch, the proof is in the pudding. In this case, the rice pudding. Yes, sir, the thinking man's quarterback.
I think the one thing that helps you is being able to quick release, but more importantly probably in that is being able to make the read quick and know where you're going with the ball.
But there's more to Robo QB than mere brains and brawn. Phil Simms would provide the heart. Time after time, Simms takes a licking but keeps on flicking. He has made a career of being down but not out, and his opponents have certainly gotten their fill of his game-winning heroics. We'll let Simms be our designated gut checker. In this game, you've got to have heart, and we'll take Simms. Then there are the intangibles. Some say John Elway is close to being a Robo QB, but poise is what sets him apart. Even when he's improvising, he has the presence of mind to direct his blockers downfield, and he can calculate on the run the best path to pay dirt. The other intangible is leadership. We'll give the nod to Boomer Esiason. When the Bengals southpaw takes control, his teammates snap into line. But every quarterback needs a context in which to operate. Detroit's silver stretch is an offense conceived of mouse and men. And then there are those who prefer to run and shoot on their own.
I'm not going to take any parts from anybody. I mean, if you're going to build the one all-time quarterback, I don't know. That's hard to say, but I just have to work, concentrate on myself right now.
Irv, who's your best of all time, best head?
Well, you know, there have been great quarterbacks in the National Football League, we all know that, but I would take Norm Van Brocklin for the all-time best head in pro football.
Yeah, you couldn't go wrong with him. And right now, let's send you back to the stadium in a game you're watching here on CBS.
Tim Ryan and Randy Cross back at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, where the Cardinals have a surprising 21-6 lead over the Atlanta Falcons. And Randy Cross, it's not so surprising that 1, 2, and 4 team is leading another, obviously, but the surprise is that you've got a crippled Phoenix team playing against a pretty good defensive team in Atlanta coming off a win a week ago.
Well, this Atlanta Falcon defense is sort of right now in a coma. They're not doing anything of any significant worth. Tony Casillas, to this point, is being handled by Connie Kawhi, and the entire Falcon defense is playing like they're sleepwalking. They've got to start getting it together. They can't be spending this much time on the field. With this heat, it's going to be a big factor later on.
Well, very good point, because Phoenix managed to grind it out and keep the ball for most of the time in the first half. And, of course, that last field goal by Atlanta had to make them feel a little bit better about their chances, because they're now down only 21-6, and, of course, still a full half to go. But when they have made good things happen, they've also made bad things happen here today. You'll see Deion Sanders gets an interception on a bad play, one of the rare bad plays by Gary Hogeboom today.
That's true. He gets back here in pass coverage, doesn't do anything spectacular. Hogeboom just throws the ball to him. A player is taught from when he first starts playing defensive football, when you make a big play like this happen, take whatever yards you can get, but whatever you do, wrap that ball up and you think ball when you go to the ground. Deion Sanders right here is thinking touchdown. He's got blocking out in front of him. His first mistake here is the fact that he cuts away from the guys that are trying to block for him out to his left. He's concentrating on where he's going. He's not concentrating on the ball, and he drops it.
So the Cardinals got out of that little mess right there and continue to march upfield with the ball, and they lead 21-6 at halftime. Well, let's take a look at some of the other scores around the National Football League today. A few surprises. Tampa Bay battled back to make that a little tougher than the score might appear, and Mark Rippon had a good day for Washington. 32-28, the Redskins won it. Minnesota over Detroit. That's 2 wins by the Vikings over the Lions this season. 20-7, 8 sacks today. Herschel Walker, 89 yards rushing for the Vikings. Green Bay and Miami. Miami got out on top. Green Bay tried one of their patented comebacks, but it fell short. In fact, a field goal by Stoyanovich from 33 yards out with 6 seconds remaining gave Miami the win, and Dan Marino, 24 of 37, 333 yards today passing for the Dolphins. Buffalo beat up on the Jets today, and the Jets continue to struggle. They've gone 9 quarters without a touchdown. The Buffalo defense, I think, maybe the best defense in the league when they're healthy. They had a big day today, 5 sacks. Bruce Smith had 3 of those, and they held the Jets to 39 yards rushing. Indianapolis and Cincinnati, Eric Dickerson, 152 yards rushing today on 31 carries. An upset win over Cincinnati, 23-12. Houston and Pittsburgh. I have a feeling, Randy, that this may, at this stage of the season, give us a better indication of how things go in the AFC Central. Houston beating up on Pittsburgh 27-0. I like the Oilers the rest of the way. 3 touchdown passes for Warren Moon. Philadelphia had a dogfight from the Raiders today. They won it at home, but only 10-7. Bo Jackson had 79 yards. Buddy Ryan had said if I was Bo Jackson's daddy and he hit a baseball that well, I wouldn't run him against the Philadelphia Eagles. But Bo did not get hurt today. Kansas City over Dallas, 36-28. The Cowboys stay winless, and so far they have simply been the best trading team in the NFL. And the Giants lead San Diego 6-3. New Orleans ahead of the Rams 19-7 at halftime. San Francisco 17 over New England. Joe Montana has left the game with an injured knee. That's 17-10 at halftime. Seattle leading Denver 14-0 at the half. And that's a complete look at NFL activity around the league today. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League continues after this message and a word from your local station.
New Britain, Connecticut is 119 miles from New York City. It only seems farther than that. People here live in the same houses their parents lived in, worship in churches where their grandparents worshiped, and work for the company their great-grandfathers built, the Stanley Works. So it's not surprising Stanley tools are made to last. It would only be surprising if they weren't.
Radio Shack has the computer you need for home, office at home, or business. And now you can save $300 on either of our 2 most powerful Tandy 1000 PC-compatible computers. They're easy to use for your whole family, yet powerful enough for business. Discover the easy-to-use desk-mate difference, where the same simple graphics guide you through word processing, spreadsheets, and more. Take advantage of the savings on 2 great Tandy 1000 computers from $5.99, only at Radio Shack, the technology store.
Every year we make New Year's resolutions, right? We all like to think we can change things for the better. How about this for a resolution? Sign an organ donor card from the National Kidney Foundation. There are thousands of people waiting for transplants. Go ahead, talk it over with your family, and sign one. Your National Kidney Foundation can give you one of these. Talk about a change for the better. This is the gift of life.
Hello, everybody. I'm Roy Clark. Do you remember the last time you were really thirsty? I sure do. Well, imagine feeling that way all the time. Around the world, there are millions of poor and sick kids in desperate need of safe, clean drinking water. UNICEF is helping them. This year on Halloween, National UNICEF Day, join me and UNICEF in making a happier and healthier tomorrow for all the children. For information on how you can trick or treat on Halloween, call 1-800-252-KIDS.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Honda, who invite you to test drive the new Accord. You have to drive it to believe it. Prudential Bates Securities, rock solid, market wise. And by Delta Airlines, we love to fly, and it shows.
Tim Ryan and Randy Cross back here at Sun Devil Stadium. Temperatures still in the 90s here in Tempe, Arizona, as you watch Gary Hogeboom had himself a good first half and leads Phoenix into the second half with a 21-6 lead. And so far, here's what's happened. Andre Bruce ejected from the game when there was a little brawl following a sack by Marcus Cotton of Hogeboom. Bruce coming onto the field and ruled as having done so illegally, getting into the fray and ejected from the game. So the starting left linebacker of Atlanta is gone for the rest of the day. Phoenix, Gary Hogeboom, 11 of 15, 99 yards. And the big numbers down below there, 18-48 of possession in the first half by the Cardinals. And just keeping Chris Miller and the Falcons from having enough opportunity to do any more than get 2 field goals at this point. On their opening drive, Atlanta marched down the field and missed a 43-yard field goal by McFadden. He connected on 2 37-yarders after that.
Tim, I can tell you from experience, and you and Dan Jigges did the game here when we played the Cardinals and the 49ers last year. This second half in Phoenix is really, really tough. A lot of that first half energy is expended. The second half, if these Cardinals can stay on top of the Falcons, I don't give the Falcons much of a chance of coming back against them.
Well, the fireworks are fired off here at Sun Devil Stadium, and the Phoenix Cardinals have been hot as firecrackers through the first half. And they will have the ball first. McFadden's kickoff taken by Tony Baker about the 2, and he's got some running room. Baker after the 30-yard line. Michael Reed made the tackle for Atlanta, and so good field position again for the Cardinals, and that's something they have been blessed with throughout the first half of the game. Gary Hogeboom comes on. He's played awfully well in this ball game so far. Just that one errant throw to Deion Sanders of the Falcons, but otherwise a very sharp 11 of 15. A lot of quick hitch passes out to J.T. Smith. Been very effective. Ferrell on first down, carrying tacklers with him for a gain of close to 6 yards. Mike Gann on the stop. And Tony Bowick starting the second half for Tony Casillas on the nose. We haven't had an injury report on Casillas. We did point out that he has struggled a little bit here after having such a great start to the season, having some problems in the first half, but we'll check to see if he is injured at all. Joel Williams is in defensively for Andre Bruce. Williams coming off a groin injury, back in action for the first time in several weeks today, and having to get in there for Bruce, ejected from the game.
You got to give a lot of credit to this Cardinal offensive line. You're looking at 2 rookies in Zandowski and Wolf and a free agent in Connie Kawhi, and they're playing this Atlanta Falcon defense very, very tough. And as we mentioned, Mr. Casillas, he runs back on the field. There's Tony, number 75, wants to know, hey, what's the deal? Am I going in or am I going out? Somebody tell Tony his Band-Aid's getting loose on his right arm there.
Well, there is some confusion now. 2 Falcons running off the field. They're going to call a timeout here to sort out who they want on this 3rd and 2. Well, you don't like to have to give up a timeout in the first minute of the first half.
Trying to get him.
Gary Hogeboom will take advantage of it and go over and talk to the Cardinal coaching staff. And a chance to remind you, next Saturday our college football activity will feature Alabama. Big winners yesterday over Tennessee against number 17 ranked Penn State. Penn State 5-1 idle yesterday. Running backs Aaron Stacy scored 4 touchdowns for Alabama yesterday, and they moved to 6-0 on the season. 2:30 Eastern time next week. Well, Gary Hogeboom's having a good day, but his son Jake, he ran off yesterday after talking to us, went to watch young Jake play his 4- to 7-year-old soccer game yesterday, and we've got the score, folks. I don't know whether we should give it or not, but Jake's team got beat 7-0, Randy, last night. Maybe Jake was playing hurt.
Well, football wouldn't be a bad score, but unfortunately it's soccer. They score them 1 at a time.
That's right. Jake Hogeboom. He's 5 years old. That's his daddy's number. He's having himself a good day out here. Gary knew where his priorities were yesterday, too. He said he kept looking at his watch. He said, well, I got to be there for the start of that game. Phil McConkey in for the first time, the former Giant. The wide receiver for the Cardinals, Vi Sikahema, also in on third down. Short drop. Complete for a first down. Cardinals to Phil McConkey. His first catch as a Cardinal. The former Navy helicopter pilot, released earlier by the Giants. And he is a real go-go kind of guy, and the crowd has recognized that already. He's got terrific spirit and attitude, and he can catch the ball.
A lot of people here in Phoenix can't figure out why the Giants let this guy go. Still runs around a 4.5 40, and that was a quick little button hook, just a possession type of catch. Atlanta guys kind of ganged up on him. Look at, wow, we're not quite going to see the reaction. He got up, he tossed the ball, and came running back to the sideline. He is a fiery guy.
First down, Phoenix, 45-yard line. Hogaboom flushed into traffic, complete to the tight end. Ewald, good catch in traffic for a first down.
You know, Hogaboom told us yesterday, Tim, that last time we had him against Seattle, the next week against the Giants, he was throwing the same kind of passes. They were just about a foot off. Here's a pass. If you're not having a good day, as he rolls to the right, he decides to throw the ball. If this isn't a perfect day for you, you don't throw that in the right position. That's an interception on a bad day. It's good judgment on a good day.
Has him a first down in Atlanta territory. Good for 5. The ground game of the Cardinals been consistent. Tuggle and Thomas made the stop.
You know, we referred in the first half a few times about Tony Casillas and Connie Kawhi. Watch this right here. What is this referred to as a scoop block? The center goes through the nose guard. Number 75 is Casillas. Lance Smith, the right guard, gets him, gets the body position. He fights him, he cuts him, he puts him on the ground. That will wear out any defensive player. And Tony Casillas, yes, you can tell from his jersey, has spent a lot of time on the ground today.
I believe 2nd and 3, about a 7-yard pickup for Jordan. Ferrell. Short of the first down. Good defensive work by the Falcons on their right side. Nose man Casillas right there in the middle of it. Along with Mike Gann, Ben Thomas. Giants have widened the lead over the Chargers. New Orleans leading the Rams 19-7 in the third. And then San Francisco holding a touchdown lead on New England, with Montana having left that game with a hyperextended left knee. There's Tony Casillas. He's had his hands full with Connie Kawhi. The man has been a professional backup in the NFL, a few starts during his time at Seattle. Diving is Jordan, and he gets up and runs for extra yardage. He got the first down. If they'll give them the rest, it would be because he wasn't touched by a Falcon on the dive. But let's see where they spot it. Now they're going to bring it back to the 30.
Now look, like a great push in the middle, good blocks on Casillas and the rest of the defensive linemen. And the reason they're going to call it back, you saw number 72 Thomas come in there and just hit him while he was in the air. That's all you need is a little contact. And here we go. Look at this push they're getting on him. Thomas comes in and just kind of gets a little piece of his leg, just barely hits him. He got some serious airtime. Tony Jordan got off the ground.
Greg Louganis looked there. First down at the 30-yard line. Tony Jordan, that might have been a busted play. Hogaboom looked a little bit hesitant. Now looks over with, once they shrugged their shoulders and waved their arms, you know something wasn't right.
It almost looked like he wasn't supposed to give him the ball, like the running back took it out of his hands. It'd have been a heck of a fake, because all the other 21 guys on this football field were all going that way on that play.
Joel Williams made the tackle. Turns into a 2-yard loss. Two rookies, Mike Zandowski and Joe Wolf. A backup center, Connie Kawhi. And so far, they have been very effective against Atlanta's very solid defense. Second down and 12. Good protection for Hogeboom. Now has to throw the ball in a hurry as they finally got to him, and it's incomplete, intended for Awalt. Joel Williams had the coverage, and a good rush by Mike Gann late.
And we're going to see a replay here. Tony Casillas. Watch number 61, Lance Smith, on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. He's been a quiet guy. You don't hear much about him. Watch his shot he gets on Casillas. Kawhi's got him underneath the shoulder pad. Look at him. They lift him right up off the ground. Wolfley gets a little piece of him. There he goes, and Kawhi finishes him off and drives him to the ground.
Connie Kawhi, 6'2", 270-pounder. Tony Casillas has been just absolutely brilliant so far this season, is finding himself with his hands full. Of course, he expects the double teams, but I'm sure he didn't expect the performance from Kawhi. Third down. Deep for Jones, incomplete as they went right to the end zone on third down. Bobby Butler had the coverage on him deep in the end zone. And kind of an interesting call there, going all the way on third down, Randy, out at the 32-yard line.
Well, you know, Tim, we're starting to sort of beat this subject to death as far as the conditioning and the heat and whatnot, but these are the situations where you might catch somebody a little bit asleep, a little bit fatigued, kind of tired. You go for a big score on them quick, it's worth a try. The Cardinals got the 49ers last year 2 separate times on plays just like that late in the game.
A 50-yard attempt for Del Greco. He's got it. Del Greco's longest of the year, his previous best of 41-yarder. He hits from 50 here, and he's now 7 of 8 in field goals on the year.
This is a low driving kick. Good protection by that offensive line. Kept the guy's hands down. Look at him. He's not quite sure. Is it? Is it? Is it? Tom Tupa, give him a hug. Great kick.
24-6.
You have to drive it to believe it. The new Accord.
It has been said that a good beer is like a good man. If you look beneath the surface, invariably, the best will come shining through. Smooth, never bitter Miller Beer.
By that man, a Miller Beer, the best comes shining